Tax season is upon us. Yet again, seems to come every year. And this year, many people will spend hours and hours doing their own taxes on TurboTax or similar software. Many more will pay a discount tax preparer like H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt to file it for them. And still, many more will pay hundreds of dollars extra to have theirs done by a CPA. Here's my advice to you. Get your tax preparation done by a tax planner. Which leads to our big announcement for this year, is that we file taxes for anyone. Right? So for years now, we have filed taxes for our financial planning clients. Right? We're a financial planning firm at Lacrosse Financial Planning. Retirement Mentorship is our education kind of arm, separate business for that. But in my main financial planning firm, Lacrosse Financial Planning, we do all-in financial planning for people, investment management, estate planning, tax planning, and tax preparation, right? So if you've been a financial planning client of ours, we've been doing your taxes and people have loved that. And we've reserved our tax preparation for our financial planning clients. But for the first time and for a limited time, we are now going to open up our tax preparation services to the general public. Now, we're only going to take enough clients so that it doesn't affect our financial planning clients, right? We're not going to have an onslaught of new tax preparation, and it's going to reduce our services to our main clients. But there's just been a rush of both CPAs that are retiring and just, their clients are trying to find other avenues or jacking up their prices. And so people are looking for a better place to file their taxes. And so we want to be that for some people. And so if you are a client of ours already, right, we're going to file your taxes. And if you're not, let me just show you a few reasons why you would want to get your taxes prepared by a tax planner, not just a tax preparer. Right, so there's some problems with just getting your taxes prepared. And let me outline a few. And the first category is kind of mistakes and missed opportunities, right? And if you're working with a preparer, whether you're doing it yourself or you're working with there's several mistakes and missed opportunities that they can make. And the first thing I want people to know, which a lot of people don't, is that the tax preparation bar, the bar to become a registered tax preparer, is so low, it's on the floor, right? Almost anyone can become a registered tax preparer to get paid and professionally file and prepare other people's taxes. The only requirement that you need to get paid to file taxes is a preparer tax identification number, or a PTIN, right? And they when they sign, they put that number on every return that they file. And to do that, you need to create an account on irs.gov. You need to apply for the PTIN, which takes about 5 to 15 minutes. You need to pay the fee, which is $19.75. And then you get your PTIN and you can professionally prepare taxes. That's it. Again, that bar is so low, it's on the floor. You wouldn't even trip over it if you were trying to. So it doesn't take much to be a professional tax preparer. Now, again, most tax preparers are going to have some basic training, right? If you are going to a discount preparer like H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt or some of these companies, right? They're going to have some kind of training system in there to get people on board and be able to do that. But most of that is just training them in how to enter your data into their software. The software does all the calculations, prepares the taxes, and they are just entering that data in there, whatever data you are giving them. They're doing your TurboTax for you and charging you an extra $100 to do that. The other problem is that information that they're entering is provided by you, right? So two people, neither of which have any advanced training in tax preparation, are combining their information together to file a return. It's the blind leading the blind, right? And there will be mistakes and plenty of missed opportunities when you have those scenarios. So if you are using a paid professional, if you're not doing it yourself, you will definitely want to use either a CPA, a certified public accountant, or an enrolled agent, or an EA. And they're not going to make those mistakes that those basic tax preparers are going to make at the discount places, because they actually have true training in this area, right? So CPAs, those are regulated by the states. To be one, you have to have a 5-year accounting degree or some equivalent, and you have to pass this rigorous 4-part exam. The 4 parts are auditing and attestation, business, environment and concepts, financial accounting and reporting, and regulation. And so CPAs are just that, right? They're public accountants, and they get this. They do have advanced education in personal returns, but a lot of that training, if you can just tell just by the names of the parts of that exam, are in public accounting, are in auditing businesses and corporations. And so in some ways, they're overqualified to be doing personal tax returns, which is why we've seen kind of this trajectory, at least locally here, of many CPAs either getting out entirely of doing personal returns or just jacking up their prices to $350 or $500 starting price for the most basic personal returns. EAs, on the other hand, enrolled agents, are licensed by the IRS directly. Now, don't confuse an enrolled agent with an IRS agent, right? IRS agents work for the IRS and are opposed to you. Enrolled agents work for the client, but can represent the client before the IRS if you should ever get audited or need to combat something. If you ever are in that situation, right, you either need a CPA, an attorney, or an enrolled agent to represent you. You cannot your H&R Block person is not going to do that for you. They can't. And so enrolled agents must also pass, have hundreds of hours of training and then a rigorous 3-part exam on individual taxes, business taxes, and representation practices and procedure. And so the enrolled agent exam focuses much more on tax returns and preparing taxes, whereas a CPA has a lot more components and a lot of other things. I always say that a CPA is always going to know way more than an enrolled agent on auditing and corporate taxes and those types of things. But the enrolled agent has all the training you need to do personal and small business taxes. So like I'm an enrolled agent, there's lots out there. You'll see that EA designation in a lot of people. And minimally, if you're going to pay someone to do it, you want them to have an EA designation. And the other thing about EAs, right, is they have to do 24 hours per year of continuing education. And so, ask yourself, did you do 24 hours of tax studying before you prepared your taxes last year? And if you didn't, right, perhaps it's worth it to pay someone else who did. And it's going to be a much better bang for your buck, right? There's no reason you should spend that much time preparing your taxes. Your time cannot be worth that little. And the other thing that people mistake often is they believe that their software will do it for them. They say, well, I just do TurboTaxes. It gets me a great refund every year. The software doesn't make mistakes. And that's only partially true, right? Software doesn't make calculation mistakes. If you put numbers in there, it will calculate it perfectly. And when I tell people I'm an enrolled agent and I prepare taxes, a lot of times you get that comment, oh, you must really enjoy math. And whether I enjoy math is irrelevant, because it doesn't matter. I don't do any math in tax returns. The software does the math, right? The software adds everything up and subtracts and divides and all of that. We don't know the strategy. We know the opportunities that are out there. We know how to actually prepare the return. The software calculates the returns. We prepare it. We know about the deductions, the credits, those types of things. And the software isn't always going to give you those. When I first got into preparing my own tax way back in the day, I was using TurboTax. I knew I was eligible for a certain credit. I couldn't get the software to give me that credit. And so I went and learned how to file taxes by hand on the forms so that I could get the credits that I knew I was due. And if you don't know the credits or you don't know what questions to ask or where to put things, it's not automatically going to generate all those opportunities for you. And so while software is never going to make a calculation mistake, it can make tons of other mistakes and missed opportunities because it doesn't know what all it is doing is using the data you give it to prepare the return. And so there's lots of mistakes and missed opportunities you can make if you're using a preparer or software that doesn't know what it's doing, right? Now, the other problem with just using a tax preparer only and not a tax planner to do your taxes is isolated information. Right? Most CPAs and enrolled agents are tax preparers only. They're not tax planners. Not because they aren't smart enough to be tax planners, but because that's not what you're paying them to do. You're paying them to give them all your data for last year and prepare and file your taxes. That's all you're paying them for. And so they get tax forms that report how much you contributed or distributed from your accounts last year, but they don't know the balance of your 401k. Or your Roth IRA. They don't know what your Social Security is going to be or how much your pension will be before you claim it. And so they can't do tax planning for you because they have isolated information, right? They only have the information you provide them on tax forms. So having your taxes done by a CP or CFP, a certified financial planner, who's also an EEA or a CPA, will mean that they have a better tax planning perspective when they prepare your taxes. And the other, and probably the main problem that we see, right? So like discount tax preparers, they're going to have actual mistakes. CPAs, those kind of things, they're not going to make those mistakes. But what I see a lot with CPAs is that they have this short-term focus. right? CPAs and other tax preparation companies are running a business. They make most of their money in 3 months, and they have to keep the lights on for the rest of the year with that revenue. And they need repeat customers, right? And the best way to do that is to maximize people's refunds for last year, right? As humans, most of us want a tax refund, right? And we judge the quality of our tax preparation by the total refund amount, not the total tax amount, let alone our lifetime tax amount. And so most people only focus on that last number. Hey, what is my refund? They don't look at the total tax number, and they certainly don't project that out into the future or look at what it's been in the past. And so because of this, as a society, we have trained CPAs to try to maximize last year's refund so that you will look favorably at them and give them repeat business, right? That is their motivation. It's not a bad motivation. It is, they are saving you money, but I've repeatedly seen them giving advice that maximizes your short-term refund while ignoring your lifetime taxes. And we shouldn't care about that. We should care much less about what you're going to pay in any given 1 year and much more about what you're going to pay over your lifetime. And that's why we need tax planning, not just tax preparation. And so here's the deal, right? You should get your taxes prepared not by a CPA, but by a CFP who's also a CPA or enrolled agent, right? The best thing you can do is get them prepared in-house with your financial planning team if they do that. And we're not the only financial planning firm that does, right? So this is as much as a plug for firms like ours as it is for ours, but there are a few benefits of doing it this way, right? Number one, you get a really smooth process, right? As your financial planner, I already have all your information about all the accounts that I manage and all the other planning that we've done, right? And so if we're managing your accounts, we can pull those tax documents ourselves. We have access to all of your account balances and all those things. And so we don't have to keep asking you redundant questions and have you fill out forms over and over again. We don't send out 10 or 30-page client organizers that you have to fill out from scratch every year. We can easily carry data from 1 year to the next, pull data ourselves. We've already talked about these things. We already know what you're eligible for. So it's a very smooth process for our existing financial planning clients. And if you're not yet a financial planning client, we can still do your taxes, and it's still a smooth process. We are in 2024, right? And so we have processes that are in 2024, and we're not using some of the antiquated systems that I've heard some horror stories of how much work it is for clients to get data and get information to their CPAs to do their taxes. And we've gotten many compliments from new tax clients that just how impressed they were with the smoothness of our process, right? We also take a holistic view of everything that you have, right? So again, if you are already a planning client, a financial planning client, we know the rest of your situation. We know your account balances and other income sources, and we keep that in mind as we're creating your tax strategy and filing your taxes. And so we know the opportunities out there. There's tons of opportunities for credits and deductions, and we already know which ones apply to you, so we don't have to ask you dozens and dozens of questions to try to get on them. We know those things already. And for people who are not yet financial planning clients, we'll still see more than your average preparer, right? Most preparers are getting those tax forms, and they're just copying numbers from the form into the software. But it means something different to us, right? When we see certain numbers in box 14 on your W-2 or on box 7 on your 1099-R, those numbers mean something to us, and we can infer and deduce certain tax planning strategies and options for you that the average preparer might not see, right? Because again, we have that holistic view. And again, we always now are going to take that planning focus, right? We are tax planners first and tax preparers second. And so we are going to take that focus into your preparation. And so if it's better for you to pay more taxes this year than so that we will pay less over your lifetime, we're going to recommend that you do that and show you why and show you how. We're not going to just try to maximize that return number if it means also maximizing your total tax that you pay. As we always say, right, we're going to pay every dime in taxes that we owe, but let's not leave the IRS a tip. And so we talk a lot about taxes, right? It just on this podcast and everything, because it is, for most of us, the largest lifetime expense that we will pay. And so we have a moral duty, an ethical duty, and a professional duty to you to help you pay the least amount that you can. So there's two options that you can do from here, right? You can learn more if you want. And if you want to learn more, we've already done several episodes on this topic. In fact, you can go to retirementship.com/148 This is the 148th episode, so /148. That will go to this episode, and I have a list right down at the end of all the episodes we've done on tax planning already. We have one on a few on tax planning, on Roth or not Roth. Should I convert my IRAs? Certain tax planning topics, and we did a whole workshop on reducing taxes in retirement. So you can find links directly to all of those by going to retirementmentorship.com/148. And if you've never been to that website, check out everything else we have to offer there as well. So you can learn more. And the second thing you can do is to take action, right? If you're already our client, then you will receive proactive emails from us about tax filing and the process and what to do with all of those things. And if you're not a tax client of ours yet, but this sounds interesting, you can learn more about filing your taxes with us at lacrosse.tax. lacrosse.tax. And there's, again, a link for that in the show notes of this episode and in the blog post for this episode. And so if we are still accepting new clients, it'll show that on there. If we have ceased, right, we are only going to take a limited amount that we can not damage our service to our main financial planning clients, then it will just say, hey, we're not taking new clients. So go there. It's a first come, first serve. You can hire us there. You can see our current prices, including a 2-year discount for new clients so that you can get in and see what it's like. We're doing a 2-year one because the first year, I think you're going to be impressed anyways, but then you're really going to be impressed the second year when you see how much easier it is to file taxes with us the second year as opposed to the first year even. And so all of our prices, including that discount, are posted right on there. We're very transparent about everything we do. And so again, lacrosse.tax. Paying less in taxes does not happen by accident. You need a plan, and so let us make that plan with you and for you. Hope this has been helpful. We'll see you next week. Cheers. If you enjoyed that, you would love being part of our free membership community. It's called Retire Membership, and it has a host of benefits, all for free. For example, you can always buy my book, 3D Retirement Income, on Amazon. But if you join us at Retire Membership, we will send you either a hard copy or paperback for free, provide the ebook and the audiobook so that you can listen to it if you don't have time to read it. In addition to that, we'll also provide you with a bunch of content that you can't get anywhere else. For example, we have our quarterly Retire Mentorship magazine, which comes out quarterly and has no ads whatsoever. It's just timely content to help you stay the course. We also have workbooks for our free online workshop to help you get the most out of those, flowcharts to help you make better decisions, and a weekly email to provide timely content that you can unsubscribe from at any time. We never ask for any payment information, and we never share your information with anyone else. We just want to provide timely content and help you stay the course to retire successfully and stay successfully retired. There's no reason to wait, so join us now at retiremembership.com, or you can click in the link in the description and it'll go right there. We can't wait to see you in the community. Cheers.